Okay, we're still on Mesopotamia. This is the continuation of Lecture 1. This is the beginning of Lecture 2. And I left off starting to talk about the top of the Code of Hammurabi. And I think I got a little ahead of myself. I need to tell you probably a little bit of background about Hammurabi. And Hammurabi was known as a just king. And he was known for his economic policy. At one point during his reign, he actually relieved people from money that they owed the government. So, like, probably, I'm assuming the poorer class, he did this with. And he's well known for his legal codes, which actually predate the commandments. And I believe in 800 BCE is when the Ten Commandments were created and was based off of the Code of Hammurabi. They had a lot of interaction with Egypt. I think that's important to note. And we are going to zone in on this top piece, and let's talk about it formally. It's a very symmetrical composition. It's weighted equally on both sides, which I think is important because this guy on the left is Hammurabi, and this guy over here is Shamash. He's the god of light, and I think I talked earlier about the horns coming out of his helmet, which is an indication that he is the god of light. So what this basically states is that Hammurabi is receiving the laws from Shamash, and he's giving him the ring and scepter, and or staff, whatever this may be here. It could even be like the scroll of the laws. We don't really know, but he's in deep discussion with this god, and he is very prayerful almost. This isn't like an aggressive stance that Hammurabi is in. He's almost prayerful. I think it's important to note, as much of a balanced composition as this is, if you really look at the right hand side, the god, if he would stand up, he would tower over Hammurabi. And I think that's intentional, because I think it's like, okay, they are equal, but they're not. Like, we're balanced, but he's, this guy's still God. He still is over Hammurabi. So you have this, I wanted to talk about relief. There's two types of relief that we see here. There's high relief and there's low relief. So the high relief is where it's like, it's higher, it's cut deeper. So this would be an example of high relief, the bodies. And then low relief would just be this simple patterning, and it's extremely stylized. Look at the beards, kind of like going back to the votive statues. Their beards are very stylized. So if we look at the code, and I said before, this is from basalt. Comes from volcanic ash. And on this code of laws, there's over 300 specific laws written out in cuneiform. And I think these look like little carrots, or maybe little like upside down mountains, right side up mountains. If you broke the laws, punishments were very, very serious. Laws are above humanity, is what they believed. And how the government, a lot of this is how the government should run and how money should be handled. So we still, we're seeing this hierarchical scale, seeing, the balance, nice composition. So if you look at this formally, you could talk about, the equality of these two, and then you could talk about the scale of the god and how it's balanced visually, but is it really balanced? So I find this is a really interesting piece. And this is the end of the first lecture for Mesopotamia.